Morning, everyone.
Morning, Judge.
Morning. Amy, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're here on an initial permanency hearing. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Ms. Ledbetter's with us for CASA. Mr. Nowak is with us representing the child. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the father, Mr. McLeod, who is incarcerated. Mr. Adams is with us representing the mother, Miss McLeod, who is with us. All right, that's everyone as far as the parties are concerned. Mr. Alvey, who do we need in for your?
Peyton Sim, Your Honor, is my
Okay.
caseworker.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Alvey.
Thank you. Miss Sim, you're a St. Francis Ministries permanency specialist.
Yes.
Where is she currently placed?
In Amarillo in a group home.
And how is she doing in that placement?
She's doing really well. She is such a smart, bright, young kid. She gets along really well with everyone. She does great in school. She's a great kid overall. We do think that she is the carrier of strep. And so she gets strep quite often. And we have a ears, nose, and throat doctor appointment in September to see what we can do about that.
And has placement made sure that she is attending all of her dental, medical, and mental health appointments?
Yes.
And other than the strep that you've discussed, are there any other special issues or special needs of this child that we need to bring to the court's attention today?
No, I don't think so.
Child's mother is Amy McLeod.
Yes.
Miss McLeod was ordered to work services through a service plan. Has she begun working those services?
Yes, she has.
Has she completed any of the services at this time?
To my knowledge, at this time, she has completed her psychosocial assessment. And in that psychosocial assessment, it was recommended that she continue counseling, that she maintain employment, that she attend parenting classes, that she get an OSAR assessment, and that she attend a 12-step program. She also has maintained employment. The department would like proof of that. She has also maintained stable housing. The department, once again, would like to be able to go see the house. She has visits, and she does really well on the visits. She started her parenting classes, and she did attend one drug screen.
Any of those recommendations from the psych that she did, do we need to add those as a court order today? Or are they all listed in your service plan?
The only one that's not listed is that 12-step program, whether NA or AA.
Okay. So you're asking the court today to order that Miss McLeod complete or at least attend a 12-step program on a regular basis?
Yes.
Has Miss McLeod drug screened for you when you have asked her to?
She didn't drug screen on May 6th. So I sent her May 23rd and she didn't go. She did go on June 27th and it was negative. And then she was asked to go July 31st, but was unable to attend.
Have you explained to Miss McLeod that part of the reason for the Emberley's removal was substance abuse, and so those random drug screens are of high importance in this case?
Yes.
And do you feel like she understands that?
I think that she understands. I think we're having a hard time because she does work nights. And so I've been trying to ask her to drug screen the day before so she sees the text and can go the next day, but that hasn't worked.
You're asking that Miss McLeod be ordered to do a UA and hair follicle drug screen today?
Yes, please.
And where does Miss McLeod currently reside?
In Hartley, Texas.
So where would she go to drug screen?
It would be in Dumas, unless she would prefer to go somewhere else in Amarillo.
And you testify that she was exercising visits. Have you had any reports that those visits are not appropriate, or that there are any issues with those visits?
No, the visits go great and Emberley loves them.
Father of Emberley is Christopher McLeod?
Yes.
And my understanding is that he is currently incarcerated. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Do you know where he's incarcerated at?
Currently, let me look. I know he's moved several times recently. but I know he's still out of state in Ness County. And I believe it's the DOC in Kansas.
So that would be the Department of Corrections, which is their prison system in Kansas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any idea when his release date may be?
I don't.
Have you had any contact with him so that he understands that there are services that he needs to be working to have the opportunity to have his child returned to?
I've sent letters. However, he has been moved multiple times, so I've just been in contact with his attorney, Jay.
Based upon your testimony today, would you agree with me that it would not be safe to return Amberly to either parent today,
Yes.
and that it would be contrary to her general welfare?
Yes.
Are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator of Amberly, and we continue her placement as is? And I want to ask you a question about that, but answer my question about, is that what you want to do?
Yes.
As far as placement is concerned, is her current placement, is that a least restrictive placement? I know that you said she's doing well there. Are we looking for a family member, or are there other places that we might be looking for to place her?
Yes. So Miss McLeod gave me a list of names. I was able to contact a friend that lives out of state who was willing to take Amberly. However, my supervisor and program director asked that we try and place Amberly with her siblings, who I believe are living with Miss McLeod's adoptive parents. I had to do a diligent search because the siblings are not in our system. So once that comes back, or if Miss McLeod can provide me with that information, we can look further into that.
We are looking for a different type of setting for this child.
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have. I'll pass it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sim, on the drug test, you testified that she was asked to drug screen on May 6th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you asked her to test or to drug screen on that day, on that one. Was that correct?
Yes.
And I guess the problem there was that she was asleep when she got the text
Yes.
and she didn't see it until later, too late to
Yes.
go. So you tried to text her the day before on May 23rd. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she didn't go, and it was she explained to you it was an accident on her part. Is that correct?
I believe she tried to go. Yes.
And then the last one you testified about in July, isn't it true she sent you a picture that she was trying to get there and she was stuck behind a train?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that she's trying to do what the department's asking her to do?
Yes. I believe she understands the importance of it. I just think we need to find a way to be able to make it happen.
Okay. And asking her the day before would be, I mean, that's definitely a improvement so that she can get the notice and make plans. Is that correct?
Yes.
As long as she has a schedule, like visitations with her children, she hasn't had any problem making those on time. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I think that would you agree with me that getting her notice of the drug screens as soon as possible would be in the best interest of this case?
Yes. And if she can give me days and times that work better for her, we can still keep them random, but we would have more of a chance of getting those done.
Okay. You weren't at the status hearing, is that correct?
I do not believe so. I think I was out.
I think you had a substitute, is that correct?
Yes.
At that time, I don't know if you knew about this or remember, but that substitute testified that there was not a child caregiver resource form filled out and that Ms. McLeod had not asked for to look into a couple of people for placement. Is that correct?
I don't know because I wasn't there.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying.
She did fill out a child resource caregiver form on March 5th of this year. Is that correct?
I don't have it. I can look into it. I just don't have possession of it right now, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, the investigative report that was filed with the court in March actually states that the child caregiver resource form was provided and that she filled it out. She asked about stepfather Rodney Hanshoe. Did you know about that?
I did not. I
Could you,
think that she may have given me his name through text when I asked her, I believe last month sometime.
so are you saying that the probably the child resource form uh, has been misplaced or you don't have it in your file?
Maybe. I can go to the office and look, but I just know I don't have it on my computer or I haven't seen it myself.
Okay, and on that form, she also listed, I believe, Burgundy Fitz, and that's the friend, the family, longtime family friend that lives in Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she's talked to you about having Burgundy be placement and would like that to happen. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Burgundy's been a part of Emberly's life since she was born. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
And where are her siblings living now?
I believe they're placed with a Deborah, who is an adoptive parent of Amy's in Texas.
Have you gotten information from Amy that they don't that they know each other but they don't get along? They have
Yes,
a
she
hard
has. I'm sorry. Yes, she has let me know.
Sorry for talking over you. Uh, so since that was listed on the resource form, isn't it fair to say that there should be some type of investigation and possibly an ICPC and home study to be done on Miss Fitz?
I was just told by my supervisor and program director to try and place this child with her siblings before moving her out of state to a friend of the family.
And you do understand that Miss McLeod is very much against that.
Yes, and I can staff this again, and she can join the staffing with my supervisor and program director, and we can all talk about it. But that's just what I was told to do by my supervisor.
Okay, thank you. Um, and you stated the child visits have been going very well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Um, you talked about the department wanting to do a home visit with Miss McLeod and see her home. You haven't been able to do that. Is that correct?
I've been out to the home. I have not been in the home.
Have you made a couple of appointments to go out and meet her and go in the home?
I believe we had a couple appointments, and then this week I was in Dumas in court, and so I just stopped by and was unable to go in the home.
On those previous appointments that were made, do you remember not being able to show up for those appointments?
I believe there might have been one, and then the other one I was early to.
Okay. But she's not trying to keep you from seeing the house. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And she's lived there for a significant amount of time. Is that true?
That's my understanding.
Okay, I just want to make it clear that she's cooperating and that she's trying to do everything she can to help with this case. And she's made it clear to you she's really intent on doing what needs to be done to get her daughter back. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to talk about the medical procedures just for a minute.
Okay.
You mentioned that she had possibly a carrier of strep and that you had an appointment in September. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you notified Miss McLeod of this appointment?
She knows we're having the appointment. I don't have the time. I know it's September 20th, but I can get that to her, and I let her know that we can go together.
Okay, so you let her know that she can attend that appointment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, she had a sleep study done prior to that recommended this appointment with the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did Miss McLeod inform you before that sleep study that she didn't want that to happen unless she was there?
Not the sleep study. I know that she's wanted to go to future appointments, but I think the sleep study was scheduled before we had problems with Miss McLeod having problems with wanting to come to the appointments and us not knowing when the appointments were because they were emergencies.
So the sleep study was an emergency?
The sleep study, she had the sleep study, and then Miss McLeod and I talked about her wanting to come to future appointments.
Okay. So you'll make sure that she knows about future medical appointments so that she can attend those?
Yes, unless if they're emergencies and they're happening after hours, I won't know about them until the next day. But if there are scheduled appointments that we can attend together, then absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sim, you said that Ms. McLeod works nights.
Yes.
So does she have transportation? Do you know, does she have a car?
Yes, she does.
Okay, so there should be no problem with her getting a drug test today.
Not
Correct?
that I know of, no.
All right. Now, the report I read, I'm not sure I heard your testimony correctly. The report I read said that she'd had 9 positive tests for methamphetamine from October last year to February of this year, and also 4 no-shows for drug tests. Is that accurate?
Is that, sorry, let me look at the report real quick. I'm not seeing it on my report, but I didn't get the case until this year, so I don't know about anything previous in that other than if it was on the investigative report.
Okay, well, I read it. I read it for the status hearing. That's where my notes came from. So that's
Okay.
fine. If you don't know, you don't know. All right. You talked about Emberly's siblings being placed. Are they in CPS care?
No, not currently. They were removed, and then I believe that her parents took some kind of custody over them.
Okay. All right, but there's not a CPS case in the siblings.
No.
There's not, Your Honor.
So placing Emberly with them would be just voluntary on the part of whoever has the siblings. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Michelson, questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Peyton, I have one question and one request. With regard to my question, when you sent a letter to Mr. McLeod, where did you send a letter to?
The first one was the first facility he was at when the case first started. And then he was transferred to a different facility that was an in-between to get him to the new facility. So I just haven't had luck because he keeps moving.
And that was he left Ness County, NESS County?
Yes.
Okay. When I did a KDOC search again this morning, it shows no offender. So I was wondering if you have a search tool that might be more successful than the public search tool for offenders I'm using.
We just use VineLink. That's the last one I used when I last emailed you.
Might show. Would you mind doing a VineLink search and sharing that with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nowak.
No question, other just a note, Peyton, thank you so much for always taking my calls and keeping me updated. Judge, that's all I have for this witness at this time. Thank you.
All right. All right, anyone else have further questions for Ms. Sim? All right, then. Ms. Sim, did Ms. McLeod do an OSAR assessment?
No, she hasn't started an OSAR assessment, but we can't refer to OSAR without a couple drug screens. They want to see numbers or negatives.
Okay. So that's what we need to accomplish that today, correct?
If possible, yes.
Okay, well, that's possible. So, all right. Mr. Alley, did you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams, any witnesses?
I'd like to call my client, Ms. McLeod.
Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amy, it was your understanding that you did do an OSAR assessment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're taking a drug class right now, and you've gone to several appointments. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that that could have been something else besides an OSAR assessment?
No, sir.
Who did it? Do you know?
The intake was, I have it written down somewhere. I know Antonio is the teacher of my class there in Amarillo.
Is that the Padre program?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. We'll move on. On the drug test, you admitted earlier in the case, back in the first of the year, January, February, that you had relapsed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so those drug tests that you've taken before, you've taken responsibility for that yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you staying clean now?
Yes, sir.
Have you been doing that for several months?
It's been, yeah, a few months, several months.
Okay. Uh, who is Burgundy Fitz to you?
She's my, I guess, mentor. Is really a really close friend.
Did you refer to her as the godmother of Emberly?
It really is.
And she's been around since Emberly was born?
Yes, sir.
And would you like for Emberly to be placed with Miss Fitz?
Yes, sir.
And you think that would be preferable to a foster home?
Yes, sir.
On the medical procedures, did you know anything about the sleep study before it was done?
I knew they were thinking about getting one done, but I did not know the time or anything like that.
Did you inform the caseworker that you wanted to go to that appointment with Emberly?
I don't believe I specifically said that appointment, but I did mention that I wanted to be at every appointment.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod, what type of drug treatment program are you in? You said Antonio is your teacher. Is that the drug treatment program?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it sounded like Miss Sim was not. Miss Sim, were you aware that she's in some type of drug treatment?
I knew she was in Padre, but I did not know. I don't know. I did not ever refer her to OSAR because I can't refer her without drug screens. So
Well,
I'm
how
not
did-
sure.
I thought to get into a drug treatment program, you have to have OSAR'd and they recommended some type of drug treatment.
That's correct. Padre is used as a parenting class.
Well, now I've had cases where they said that people were getting drug treatment through Padre. So I'm not sure we're all on the same page here. That's what's concerning me. So when we're through, I'm going to put you and Miss McLeod in a breakout room and let y'all get your details straight. Because if she's in a drug treatment program, that's a good thing. And if she's not, then she needs to be OSAR'd to see if she qualifies for a drug treatment program. So I think we all got to get on the same page here because it doesn't sound like we are. And Miss McCoy, we do home studies one at a time. So who would be your first choice to have a home study done on?
Burgundy.
Okay, Fitz. Okay. Okay. All right. Mr. Albee, did you have questions for her?
I do, Your Honor. First, I want to clarify what Padre is. Padre is used by the St. Francis Ministries as both a parenting class and a drug rehab. She can only do the drug rehab after she goes to the OSAR. So right now, it's just as a parenting class. Miss McLeod, where does Brittany reside? I mean, Burgundy reside. She lives in Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, if we do a home study on that, it's going to have to be an ICPC home study. And that's part of the reason that we hesitated to start that process.
Okay. Well, I mean, a parent has a right to say who she wants her children placed with. So.
Okay. And we'll do that, Your Honor. So, and then that's all the questions I have. I'll pass it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Mr. Michelson, questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Nowak?
No questions, Judge.
Okay. And Ms. Sim, I forgot to ask you, is Emberly on any type of psychotropic medications?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Mr. Adams, did you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you. Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses. We rest.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Nowak, witnesses?
No witnesses, Judge.
All right. Mr. Nowak, your recommendations?
Yes, sir. I had a chance to visit with Emberly again this week. She's doing great. She's happy, she's content, she's energetic, she's excited. She loves school, she loves books, she loves her housemates, she loves the house. They had a little charcuterie party that night, if I'm pronouncing that accurately. My only concern was her chronic strep, but it looks like it's being addressed. And the appointment is on September 20th at 1 p.m. with an ENT in Lubbock. And I'm sure Ms. Sim can get with Mr. Adams or Ms. McLeod and make sure that mom knows about that.
Yeah.
Other than that, Judge, my recommendation is to maintain TMC with the department and certainly maintain current placement. Thank you so much, Judge.
Thank you. All right, then, Ms. Ledbetter, let's see, we have a volunteer, don't we?
Yes, Your Honor, I can make the recommendation though.
Okay, go ahead.
We believe it would be in Emberly's best interest to remain in her current placement in the ICPC with Burgundy Fits be started as soon as possible. We would also recommend that Amy be court ordered to UA and hair follicle drug screen by the end of the day today. And if she does not attend that, for visits to be suspended until she does appear for that screen.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue Emberly's current placement. I'll order Ms. McLeod to both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today. Ms. McLeod, you have transportation?
Yes, sir.
And where have you been drug testing at?
In Dumas.
Okay, I can't remember the name of that place. Anybody? Anybody know?
CDT services.
CDT, yeah, okay. All right, then I'll order Ms. McLeod to both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today at CDT in Dumas. If she fails to drug screen by 4 p.m. today, I will suspend her visitation. Ms. McLeod, I hate doing that because it really punishes the child more than the parent. But if we've got to have some more drug screens, according to Ms. Sim, before you can have an OSAR assessment, we've got to get that done because we've got to see if you're doing what you need to for your drug problem. So, and then I will order that Ms. McLeod attend some type of 12-step program at least once weekly. Ms. McLeod, a lot of those are online, which would make it much easier for you to do. So you can get, when I put you and Ms. Sim in a breakout room so that we all get on the same page, y'all can discuss that too. And then finally, I will order an ICPC home study on Burgundy Fits. Ms. McLeod, I'll just warn you, ICPC home studies, that's because Ms. Fitz doesn't live in Texas. They're usually much slower than getting a home study on a person in Texas. So don't be surprised if it takes longer than you would want, but we'll get that started immediately. So, okay, I will set the next permanency hearing for December 4th, 2024. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance hearing to see exactly. Mr. Graff is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram is with us representing the child. The mother, Ms. Moyato, is with us. Before we get started, Ms. Moyato, do you have an attorney?
No, not that I know of, sir.
Okay, have you applied? Let me just go ahead, since this is our first hearing. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, you have the right to ask that the court consider whether or not you're entitled to a court-appointed attorney at no cost to you because you're indigent. Do you understand that, right?
Yes, sir. I turned in my papers to the wrong court.
Okay, what court did you turn them into?
I turned it into the one in Canyon, Texas, instead of the one on Western and Amarillo.
Okay, well, that's not really your fault. They should have gotten it to me. I don't know, Brittany, are you listening in? Or are y'all still on your call? Yeah, she's in a conference call. That's my court coordinator. Ms. Moyato.
Judge, if it helps anything, Brittany and I have been in contact this morning. And if we need to reset it, because she hadn't been able to track it down either, if we need to reset it, we can reset it for August 30th, next Friday.
Okay, I was just about to tell you, Ms. Moyato, since you have asked for an attorney and apparently the paperwork got lost, you also have the right to ask that I postpone or continue this hearing until I've reviewed that paperwork and if you qualify until you've had time to talk to your attorney. So do you want to postpone this hearing today until I've looked at that paperwork?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Understand that your child will remain in CPS custody until we come back, but then I will grant your motion for continuance. We'll recess this case. We'll reconvene on August 30th, 2024. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket to see exactly what time that hearing will take place. Ms. Moyato, are you working?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I will be sure I get that paperwork somehow today,
Okay.
and I'll review it. did you give me a good address and phone number? And I don't know if you have an email, but is all that
Yes, sir.
accurate on what you filled out?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Everything.
Go ahead. What? Everything else?
Oh, everything I gave is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll look at that and we'll notify you if you qualify for an attorney, and if so, who that is. Then it will be your responsibility to contact that attorney to set up your appointment with them. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I don't guess we know who Jamie Thigpen is, so I'm just going to leave her in the waiting room. So otherwise, I have granted Ms. Moyato's motion for continuance. So we'll recess this hearing now. We'll reconvene on August 30th. And again, everybody can go on the court's online docket to see what time that hearing will take place on August 30th. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience, Ms. Moyato. Somebody should have gotten it to me no matter what. You turned it into Randall County. That's the most important thing. So no fault on your part. So. Okay,
Yes,
we'll stand in recess. I'll see y'all back on August 30th. Everybody have a good weekend.
You too, Judge. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Thank you. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Mr. Harris is with us representing the child. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the father, Mr. Stiegel. Ms. Lucero, were you expecting your client?
Your Honor, I did speak with him before the hearing. He's working today, but he did ask if I could ask the court for paternity testing. I didn't know how that worked in motion to participate cases, but he's unsure if the child is his. And then he says if he is the dad, then of course he'll work services.
Well, I'm showing him as a presumed father, so I guess I'll have to hear something about that.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Archer's with us representing the mother, Miss Klein, who's with us. I have in the waiting room. I've got somebody on a phone line. Miss Lucero, you think that could possibly be your client?
Like I said, I just spoke with him, Your Honor. The last four numbers of his cell phone are 2302.
Okay, no, that's not him.
Okay.
I need Miss Stovall and Miss Lepe, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have two witnesses, Your Honor, for today too. A Shayna Hendrickson and a Shane Hendricks.
Okay, I don't have a Hendricks. I have a Shayna Shep. I wonder if that's the same person.
I wonder too, perhaps.
Okay. I've got a phone.
Judge, now that it starts to come to my attention, I think Jamie Thigpen is Miss Klein's biological mother. So it'd be a grandmother to this child. She's not a party. And the other part of Miss Lucero's request for for a DNA test, Your Honor, this is not these are motions to participate. They are not suit affecting parent-child relationships. I don't know if this is an appropriate forum for a DNA.
Yeah, I don't believe it is. And
that's what I advised him. I just said I would just put it out there, so that's what I'm doing.
And I don't know why I'm showing him as presumed.
Well, Judge, we listed him as a father. Again, it's not a SAPSer, so I'm not sure that it matters how we list him exactly. So we're asking that he work services but if he doesn't think he's the father, then we're not going to ask him to work services. So it's up to him, I guess.
Is he part of the child's life?
Well,
or is that this couple,
Judge, this couple's had two other children, and we removed those children were eventually adopted. So,
let's just see where the evidence goes. So,
okay. And then before we start evidence, can I talk with Miss Archer?
Yeah, you can. Let's find out who's on this phone line first.
Okay.
I've let somebody into this hearing on a phone line ending in 938. If you'd unmute and tell me who you are, please. On the phone line, 938. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up. I can't hardly hear you. Who are you, sir?
Shane Hendrickson, Krista's dad.
Okay. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. If someone calls you as a witness, you can come in. But if not, you can either watch this it's being broadcast live on YouTube under Northern Panhandle Child Protection Court. But unless you're testifying, I'm going to have to put you back in the waiting room.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Mr. Alvey?
Is it possible that I can talk with Miss Archer?
Yeah, I'll put you and Miss Archer and Mr. Harris and Miss Lucero. I'll put all the lawyers in a breakout room. Is that all right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, could I visit with my client in a breakout room briefly?
Yeah, sure. Let me get this one closed and I'll open another one.
Judge, we would like to proceed with the hearing today.
Mr. Alvey, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm called Jessica Lepe. Ms. Lepe, you're an investigator working with the Texas Department of Family Protective Services.
Yes.
And when was Jimmy born?
July 26th of 2024.
How did you become involved in the investigation concerning this child?
I was assigned to this family, and that is how I became aware of the child.
What were the allegations that caused the report to come in?
The allegation was neglectful supervision of Jimmy by Krista. There were concerns that had been drug use in the past, and the condition of a car seat that was taken to the hospital for the child was also a concern. Mom's lack of support was also a concern.
Did you, before you went and talked to anybody, did you review any past history that Miss Klein had with the department?
Yes.
And what was the history that you found concerning Miss Klein?
So in recent years, there had been terminations due to lack of completion of services. And there was drug use during those cases.
All right. So you found in your history that Miss Klein had lost or had children removed from her care, and then that her parental rights had been terminated.
Correct.
And that part of the reason for those terminations was Miss Klein refused to work services for the department.
That is correct.
And part of the reason for the removal of her previous children was because of illegal substance abuse.
Yes.
When you got your report, who did you go talk to?
Well, I contacted the hospital to confirm. And then,
And I apologize for jumping around, but one other issue that I wanted to clear up with her history. When were her last two children removed concerned when you looked at her history? Do you know?
So one child had been removed January 10th of 2023, and I believe the other child was removed mid-year of 2022.
Okay.
It was 22 and 23.
And when you talked with the hospital, what concerns did they relay to you?
So there was concerns as there had been a comment made about drug use, and so they just weren't sure how recent it had been. There was concerns again with the condition of the car seat, and there was concerns that this mother may not have the support needed to help care for a child, and they were also aware that there had been removals, so they were also concerned because of that history.
Were there concerns about lack of prenatal care for Jimmy?
Yes, I'm sorry, I had not mentioned that. There are concerns for lack of prenatal care.
And in Miss Klein's previous cases in her history, did it show that she had lack of prenatal care for her children?
Yes, that was noted in the last two cases.
You mentioned the car seat being a concern a couple times. Describe what you were told about this car seat.
So it's reported there was mice droppings, dust, dirt, dry leaves in the car seat.
And this was a car seat that Miss Klein brought to the hospital to leave the hospital with Jimmy, her child.
Yes.
After you talked to the hospital, who did you talk to?
I reached out. Well, I staffed with my supervisor.
Okay. And after your staffing, where did you go?
I then reached out to people who had been involved in the last cases.
Did you ever find Miss Klein?
I did locate her.
Where did you locate her?
In La Forest, Texas.
And how many days was it from the time that you began trying to reach Miss Klein before you reached Miss Klein?
It was that same day that I went to look for her that I made contact with her.
Okay. And when you made contact with her, was she cooperative with you?
She was, to a certain extent, yes.
Did she allow you to come look in her house?
She did not allow entry to the home.
Did she allow you to see the child?
She did allow me to see the child.
And did you discuss with her some of the concerns that you were investigating?
I did. I read what was on the 3010 notification of rights.
Okay. Did she have a response to the lack of prenatal care?
At that initial visit, no.
Okay. You said an initial visit. After you saw the child and you talked to Ms. Klein, what were your next steps?
Because she requested to obtain an attorney, because that is her right. So she requested time for that. And I was instructed to request an order to aid to gain access to the child's home environment.
When did you ask for the order to aid?
That would have been August 2nd
And
of
did you
2024.
did you get an order from the court that allowed you to talk with Miss Klein and to enter her house?
Yes, I did.
And when was that?
August 6th, 2024.
And did you go to her house again on August the 6th?
Yes,
And did she then allow you in the house?
she did.
And at that point in time, did you talk to her about the lack of prenatal care?
Yes, I did.
And what was her response?
She reported she had obtained some medical care.
Did she tell you who her doctor was?
She did provide a medical doctor name.
And did she tell you where she was taking the child?
Yes, she had made comment where the child was being seen.
Did you ask for a release of information or release of records so that you could confirm the information that she was providing to you?
I did request that.
Was she cooperative with that?
She did not agree in providing a medical release, so she did not.
When you talked with her about her past drug issues, what was her response to you?
She admitted to past drug use, but no recent use within 9 months.
Now, part of your investigation was that you received some tests from the hospital.
Correct.
And at birth, Jimmy tested negative for any illegal substances.
That's right.
And Ms. Klein tested negative for any substances.
That is correct.
However, the meconium test that the hospital does normally showed positive for methamphetamines.
Yes.
I'm going to object to hearsay.
Sustain.
Did you ask Ms. Klein to provide a random or a drug screen for you to rule out that she was using illegal substances?
Yes, I did.
Was she cooperative in taking or providing a drug screen?
She went back and forth on it and ultimately refused to take a drug screen on our request.
Based upon the information that you have on her past and in the history that we have, do you still have serious concerns that she may have a methamphetamine issue?
Yes.
Today, do you feel that Ms. Klein is cooperative with any investigations from the department?
To a certain extent, she is.
Did you offer her services?
I did offer services.
And has she agreed to work any services?
No, she has not at our request.
What did she tell you about working services?
It could be requested through the court, and at that time she would consider it.
So she's asking that the court make the determination as to whether or not she should work services.
Yes.
Are there still concerns about the health of her child based upon her actions at the time of her child's birth and in previous cases?
Yes, there is.
And are those concerns about neglect of the child?
Yes.
Are you asking then that Ms. Klein be ordered to work services?
Yes.
Specifically, are you asking that Ms. Klein be ordered to go to counseling,
Yes.
do a parenting class,
Yes.
to have to submit to random drug screens,
Yes.
and to do an OSAR evaluation?
Yes.
You feel like those services would help protect Jimmy?
Yes.
You're not asking that Jimmy be removed at this time.
No.
And if, is it your understanding that if the court orders these services and there are issues with transportation or with trying to obtain those services, that St. Francis Ministries and the department would help her get to all of the places she needed to go?
Yes.
FBS would help provide transportation.
Correct.
Now, did you talk to Ms. Klein about who the father to this child was?
Yes.
And who did she tell you the father was?
I believe she had not provided. I remember I had asked her, but I honestly cannot believe if she had given a name or not.
We've listed Jerry Stiegel as the possible father of this child. Was he determined to be the father of her two previous children?
Yes, that is who was listed as the father in the two previous cases.
Do you know if he was listed as the father on this case, on this child?
Not at the initial intake, he was not.
Did you go talk to Mr. Stiegel?
Yes, I did.
Where was Mr. Stiegel when you talked to him?
At the Wheeler County Jail in Wheeler, Texas.
Do you know what he was in jail for?
Unlawful carrying of a firearm and controlled substances, I believe.
Your Honor, I object to hearsay unless she has personal knowledge of why he was in jail.
Sustained unless he told her.
Right.
Did he tell you what he was in jail for?
Yes.
Now, did you talk to him about whether he was the father to this child?
Yes, I did.
What was his response?
That it was a possibility they'd been in a relationship, but he was not certain.
Did you ask him if he would work services?
Yes, he's willing to do what was needed.
So if, and do you know if he's been released from the Wheeler County Jail?
Yes, I was informed he was released yesterday.
Okay. So, do you know where he went when he was released?
I do not know where he went, but I have spoke with him.
Okay. But he's out and he could work services, and he's told you that he would work services.
Correct.
And you're asking that he do the same things: counseling, parenting, random drug screens, and an OSAR evaluation.
Do I need to do this?
Yes.
And you think that that would benefit Jimmy also?
Correct. I do.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lepe, did either Ms. Klein or Mr. Stiegel indicate, did they live together?
They do not live together, is what they told me.
All right. And so from what I've heard, the department's concerns only involve the mother, not Mr. Stiegel. Is that correct?
The initial concerns are only for the mother.
Okay. All right. All right, Ms. Archer, questions?
Yes, Judge. Miss Lepe, when you were at the hospital visiting Krista and the baby, did she do anything with the baby to cause you a concern?
Oh, could you repeat that?
Yes, when you went to the hospital to visit Krista and the baby, was she appropriate with the baby?
I never went to the hospital.
Okay. So in your report, the car seat seems to be the big concern of the department while at the hospital. Is that right?
The car seat was a concern made from the hospital.
Okay. So you do not know who brought that car seat to the hospital?
I do know.
Okay. How do you know?
Miss Klein told me.
Okay. And so you weren't at the hospital at all?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Okay. So why is the department wanting Krista to drug screen if the hospital drug screened her?
I would not know how to answer that. I'm going to say to have our own testing to determine if she's continued to use since then, since those last drug screens that were taken of her.
So your involvement began when you visited her home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on July 31st, when you visited the home, when you first asked to enter her home, your report says that she welcomed you in. Is that correct?
Initially, yes.
Okay. And it was only after she found out the department wanted to get involved in her life that she said, wait, I want to get an attorney. Is that right?
I believe it was once she was informed of her right of being able to obtain an attorney that she said, well, while I have time, I'd rather do that.
Okay. And she eventually did let you in the home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you have any concerns about her home or the baby at that time?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Lucero?
Just a few questions. Ms. Lepet, just following up on what Ms. Archer was asking, you said you had no concerns regarding the home. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And as far as she had a new car seat for the child, the bassinet was appropriate for the child. And at that time, everything seemed safe and appropriate in the home. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So is the basis for the department's request to be involved in Ms. Klein's life and possibly Mr. Siegel's life is based on past history, right?
In additional, the drug screen, positive drug screen.
And at the jail, when you spoke with my client, he said that he'd heard that Miss Klein had a baby and it could possibly be his, but he's not with her and hadn't seen her in quite a while. Isn't that true?
That is correct.
And you said you spoke with my client, I guess, before today's hearing, possibly today. Is he working? Did he advise you that he'd be working today?
I don't know if he's working today.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Harris?
Ms. Lepe, was the baby seen at Pampa Medical Group here in Pampa, if you know?
I do know one visit that's been held at Pampa Medical Group.
Do you know when that was?
It would have been July 31st of 2024.
Okay. And was there a report generated as a result of that visit?
I believe there was, should have been.
Okay. All right. But the problem that we're having getting that, I assume, is that she has not signed a medical release. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Did you explain that to her, or have you talked to her since that visit at Pampa Medical Group?
I did.
And did she report to you any of the findings that they made at Pampa Medical Group?
She said the baby was doing great. They had no concerns and had a follow-up schedule.
Okay. And did you fully explain to Ms. Klein what assistance was available to her and that it was cost-free to her? Were you very clear about your explanation of what we're offering or what the department is offering today for her?
Yes, I did.
You explained it was counseling, it was parenting classes, perhaps substance abuse treatment, all of those things you explained to her.
Yes, sir.
Did she make any indication to you that she might think about that and try and work those services, or was she just, it was a situation where she wasn't going to do it?
She refused and said she would not do the services.
Okay. You agree with me that it would be in the best interest of Jimmy to have her do those services?
I do.
You agree with me that we're here today about the best interest of Jimmy and not about Ms. Klein?
That is correct.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Lepe, you talked about the meconium results earlier, and I sustained that objection. Did the department have concerns when the child's meconium results came back?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else have questions for Ms. Lepe?
I do, Your Honor. Just a couple more, if
Okay.
you please, court. Did Miss Klein tell you who brought the car seat to her, or how the car seat got to her when she was leaving the hospital?
Yes, she did.
And what was her story about that?
She said that's what she had available at that moment in time to take. It was in her storage.
So she told you she pulled it out of storage and took it with her to pick up her child,
That is correct.
but she didn't clean it up first.
Apparently she did not.
If Miss Klein would have cooperated and provided a drug screen that was negative, would that have alleviated some of your concerns about substance abuse?
Yes, it would have.
And that's the reason you asked for a drug screen.
That is correct.
She only allowed you into her home after you got an order from the court.
That is correct.
And she's told you that the only way she's going to work any services to protect her child is if she has an order from the court.
That is correct.
When you talked to Mr. Stiegel when he was in the jail, did he tell you that he had concerns about Miss Klein and his child, or this child?
Yes, he did.
What were those?
He said she typically does not obtain prenatal care. So that was a concern. And he was aware of drug use by her. So that was also a concern for him.
And without her signing any release and cooperating with us, we can't verify that she did the things to help alleviate those concerns.
That's correct.
So in addition to the things I've already talked with you about, are you asking that the court order she sign a release of information or records so that we can have access to her medical records?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll pass it.
Anyone else?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Albee, any other witnesses?
Oh, Your Honor, I'll rest.
All right, Ms. Archer, witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to call the mother, Krista Klein.
Okay, Ms. Klein, if you'd unmute. Thank you. Ms. Archer?
Ms. Klein, who brought the car seat to the hospital?
It is a friend of mine, Zach Reed.
And did they get it while after you had labor? Did they go to your house, or how did that transpire?
I was air flighted by Lifestar from LaForce to VSA Hospital. So when friends and family found that out, he was one of the first other ones to come up that way that evening, and the hospital was very pushy about doing a car seat assessment so that they could make sure that the car seat was good and safe for Jimmy to come home in the next day. And so upon being air flighted, I did not have time to obtain the car seat and other things. So upon Zach coming that way, I had asked him if he could stop by and possibly grab it for me. That way we could at least have something so she could take her car seat assessment in at that time. And if we needed to get something else on then we would while we were there in Amarillo.
What week did you go into labor?
I went in the same day, the 26th of July.
But how many weeks into your pregnancy was that?
We were docked at 36 weeks full term.
So were you expecting to have more time to clean this car seat before going into labor?
Sure, yes.
And do you feel like, have you got a new car seat now?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Are you using that same car seat, or do you have a different one?
No, I have a different one that I am currently using now.
Do you feel like you have a good support system at this time?
I feel like I have an excellent support system.
Is that different than with your previous pregnancies?
No, it was the same. It's just there was a lot of I think emotional states that arise coming from me, and within my support system, I was very shut down, reclusive, which may have appeared that it looked like I didn't have a support system, but I've always had a very, very good support system and a very bunch of people.
Are you getting any kind of mental health treatment at this time?
I actually went and seen my doctor there at the Medi group the day before yesterday, and I've just recently been put back on my medicines. And psychiatric help I know was mentioned by the department as a service they would like for me to work. Also, me and my doctor at the Medi group, we talked about psychiatric help again. We were just notified that my previous psychiatric doctor, he is no longer in office, so we are going to get a new one. So she's going to give me a list of recommendations, and then I have some family in my support team who also has some recommendations as well. So that's going to be the next thing that I work on, so we can get everything in line.
Have you ever been to AA or NA?
Yes, I am a member of AA.
Do you have a sponsor?
Yes, I do.
Have you been taking the child to the doctor since she was born?
Yes, I have. She's made 2 visits. Her first initial one, a follow-up, was also the day before yesterday. We see the same doctor, so we go back-to-back visits, which helps us. And she got a PKU done a week and a half ago at her 3-week mark.
Do you have WIC or Medicaid?
I am on Medicaid, and she is listed under my Medicaid with me. And yes, we are on WIC.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Klein, I want to be sure I understood. Were you air flighted back to Amarillo because of the pregnancy? You went into labor?
Yes, like I woke up this morning and my water had broke.
Okay.
So
okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Alvey, questions?
Ms. Klein, would you agree with me that you've had issues with methamphetamine abuse in the past?
yes, I will agree with you on that.
And would you agree with me that you've had, previous to this child, you've had 2 other children removed in the last 3 years due
Yes.
to methamphetamine use?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that you were ordered to work services in 2 other cases, but you did not work those services?
I was ordered to work services, of course, back in the first case, the worldwide pandemic. There was very limited services when we did what we could at that time. But with the second child that was removed from me, I did do services. I got as far as the OSAR, and I also was reaching out to I got enrolled to do outpatient at that time, and that seemed to not be a good enough way to go about it to Yolanda Novak, who was the permanency specialist. And so
I'm going to object as non-responsive. I asked a yes and no question, and she's given me a lot of other
Ms. Klein, if the question can be answered yes or no, that is sufficient.
Well, can you repeat your question again, please?
Yes, ma'am. You failed to complete the services that you were ordered to complete in your previous 2 cases.
Yeah, I failed to complete both of them miserably.
Thank you, ma'am. You were asked to provide a drug screen when Miss Lepe came to your house first part of August.
She did ask me to take one, yes.
And you were not cooperative and did not agree to take a drug screen.
I just said, get your court order.
And you understand that's the reason we're here.
I assume so, yes.
Okay. We've also asked you to provide us a release of information so that we could confirm that you were taking your child to the doctor and to get her checks.
Yes.
And you won't do that without a court order.
Well, she did. I don't recall if she's asked me on that one, but at the Medi group, I have done that. So, and at the time, if she did ask me, the only reason why I would have said no is because I didn't speak without proper representation on my behalf.
And I'm asking you today to cooperate, get some counseling and some parenting classes and do some drug screens. You're not willing to agree to do that, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. I feel like he's asking her things. She was just exercising her rights.
I agree with you. That's why we're here today. You do
All
have
right.
that right, Ms. Klein, so you don't have to answer that question.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lucero, questions?
Just have one question for a couple of questions. Ms. Klein, are you currently in a relationship with my client, Mr. Stegall or Stegall? How do you pronounce his last name?
Stigall.
Stegall. Okay. All right. Are you currently in a relationship with him?
No, I haven't had any contact with him, other than on the telephone 2 times back in February, and he was incarcerated on January 30th.
All right. And do you believe that he's the dad of Jim? Is Jimmy's dad?
I know he is the father, yes.
Okay. All right. And whenever the department went out to visit with you, did you at one point tell them that you just wanted a chance to be a mom without CPS being involved?
Yes, I did make mention of that. That's correct.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Harris?
Ms. Klein, when was your last methamphetamine use?
It's about 9 months ago. I don't recall.
Okay, do you remember where it was?
No, I don't remember where I was.
Okay, were you pregnant at the time? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Were you pregnant at the time?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? I can hardly hear you.
Were you pregnant at the time?
Of the use of methamphetamine?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe in the very beginning. Yes, maybe. And then that took place probably right around the 1st of January.
So you were pregnant when you used methamphetamine?
Looking back on calculating the months, yes.
When was your last AA or NA visit?
I haven't got to go to a meeting probably in about a good year and a half or so.
Why is that?
Just living down here, and I haven't had proper transportation to get me there. I've had, people tell me that they'd take me, and then, that never worked out, and those friendships are no longer there anymore. So, that would be why.
Okay. Do you understand that if a judge orders these services, they'll provide transportation for you wherever you need to go, pretty much?
Yes, I did hear that.
And you understand that?
Yes, I do.
So during your pregnancy, you didn't attend AA or NA, either one?
Can't see. I haven't. I have not.
Okay. All right. Now, you indicated that Pampa Medical Group, they had prescribed you a medication to take. What was that medicine?
I can't pronounce the generic form of it, but right now we're starting me slowly back on, and I am on Xanax.
Xanax?
Yes.
All right. And who's your treating physician at the Pampa Medical Group?
It's Dr. Christy Harden, and she is also Jimmy's.
And just so I'm clear on this, there is no relationship with Mr. Stegall, the father, at all, correct?
That is correct. I didn't even list him on the birth certificate.
Okay. But you're telling the court today, well, regardless, so he's dad, correct?
That biologically, scientifically, yes, he is the father.
That's all I had to say.
All right. Ms. Klein, you said you thought you were probably pregnant last time you used methamphetamine. Did you know you were pregnant last time you used methamphetamine?
It was a possibility. I haven't been tested at that time.
That's not my question. The last time you used methamphetamine, did you know you were pregnant when you last used?
No.
Okay. And where are you living now?
I'm
sorry. Don't give me an address because we're on YouTube. What town are you living in currently?
LaForest, Texas.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have other questions for Ms. Klein? Ms. Archer?
Krista, did the hospital drug test you?
I believe so, in blood test, and that I would think that would cover.
Okay, you answered the question. Yes.
And did you live somewhere else during your pregnancy than you do now? Have you moved?
No, I'm in the same place.
Okay. Have you broken all your relationships with any known drug people that did drugs?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Somebody may want to be looking at this while we finish this hearing, but I don't know what the closest testing facility to the forest would be. Mr. Alvey, if you got somebody can be looking into that.
Tampa, Texas.
Pampa. Miss Klein, if the court were to order you to drug test today, can you get to Pampa, Texas by 4 p.m.?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, then let's see. Miss Archer, did you have any other witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to call Shayna Hendrickson.
Okay.
Okay. And how do you know Krista Klein?
She is my cousin.
Do you live near her?
I live approximately 9 minutes away.
Okay. And how often do you see her?
I try at least twice a week.
Have you had an opportunity to see her and the new baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sweet little girl. I call her my little Slim Jim. She's adorable.
And does Krista have other family that live near her as well?
Yes. Her father and Carmen live in the same town, and my sister as well. My sister lives a block away.
So have you been in her home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does it seem appropriate for a baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there's running water, electricity, and all the things?
Yes, ma'am. I made it a point to use the facilities while I was there.
Okay. Is there plenty of food in that house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Her dad brought a bunch of sealed goodies so she can keep it and cook, and I've taken her grocery shopping as well.
Is there baby formula?
Yes, ma'am.
Does the baby have a place to sleep?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the house clean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you see any diapers?
Yes, ma'am. They stay on the changing table. There's a little baby's package thing right there, and they all just right there, right when she needs it, right when she's changing there, right there.
How do you help Krista?
Whatever she needs. We are family. Whatever.
I
assist her in rides. I assist in if she needs to go grocery shopping, I will take her. If she needs to go to doctor's appointments, I take her.
Have you been to a doctor appointment with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you go to her doctor appointments or the babies?
The babies. It was a PKU.
And are you willing to continue doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever driven her to AA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you do that weekly or just when you can?
Since she's had baby Jimmy, we have not, she hasn't been able because, little babes and stuff. So, and my kids just started school.
Are you willing to do that though?
Yes, ma'am.
When Krista gets off maternity leave and starts working, would you be able to babysit or do you have other family members? Have y'all talked about that?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Okay. If you ever saw that the baby needed help, would you put the baby first?
Of course. Not a doubt in my mind. It's just a baby, sorry.
And does Krista appear sober to you as far as you know?
I haven't seen her happy in a long time. She is very sober.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Alvey, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lucero?
Questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. Can Ms. Shep be excused? Okay. All right. Ms. Shep, thank you for your testimony. I'll remove you so you can go about your afternoon's business.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Archer, any other witnesses?
Judge, I had another one, but honestly, I think it would just be cumulative of what you've already heard. So I'm not going to call. I would like just a brief argument.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lucero, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, any witnesses?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Harris, recommendations?
Judge, it's my recommendation that she participate in services. Certainly her past indicates that she does not do well once she has the child. I've been in several of these, 2 or 3 of them anyway, and I want her to do well, and I want Jimmy to be protected. And I think the way to protect Jimmy is to make her work, is to order her to work services, Judge.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Archer, your argument?
Judge, I don't feel like the department has met their burden in this case. I think that they're basing what they want to do here today just on the prior cases. You heard testimony that she was negative in the hospital. The investigator said there was really nothing concerning in that hospital. Well, she said she didn't go to the hospital. But in the report, there's nothing concerning from the hospital or at the home visit at all, other than the car seat that my client didn't even bring. My client would be willing to go drug test for the court today if you could just hold off on your ruling until she did that. that I do not think that they met their burden today.
All right. Okay, I'm inclined to agree with you. Let me ask, are we still in Pamper? Are we still testing at Next Step?
Prestige, Your Honor.
Prestige, I cannot remember that. Thanks. Okay, what I'm going to do today, first of all, I'm going to order that Ms. Klein sign medical releases for both herself and for Jimmy. I'm going to order that she hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today at Prestige in Pampa. And I'm going to set a compliance hearing for September 20th, 2024. If the drug test results aren't back, you can just notify my office and we'll pick a later date for that compliance hearing. I'm going to hold off on anything else I might order Ms. Klein to do until we get those results, or if somebody provides the court with the meconium results. I don't know how you do that. I've never had anybody introduce them. I don't know who you have to get to make those admissible, but it seems to me the drug use is the paramount concern. A dirty car seat's not the biggest concern I have in this case. So, and I'm not, this isn't part of the ruling, but I can find no basis to order Mr. Stegall today to do anything. So anyway, we'll stand in recess on this. We'll see you back on September 20th. I will say this so we don't waste everybody's time. If those drug test results are back and they haven't been on file under a business records affidavit, if anybody's going to object, just call Mr. Alvey and tell him you're object, and then we'll move that hearing back. I don't want to call the hearing and then not be able to see those results. So if everybody agrees, we'll go ahead and see you on the 20th of September. So, okay, we'll stand in recess on this case. I'll be back. I apologize for us being late. Our other hearings have run much longer than we thought they would. So,
and Judge, I appreciate that the court has run late. I was appointed yesterday, and although I've talked to my client twice, if I could have just 3 minutes in a breakout room, I think it might speed things along.
okay, good. And I was going to ask if the lawyers wanted a breakout room before we start. Let Mr. Nowak talk to his client, and then we'll come back and see where we stand. So,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Let me open that for you.
Judge, this is Vince Nowak, and I am back with my client, Kristen Reed.
Okay. Miss Goodman's she's got another appointment at 1 o'clock. Let's see where we are. I have to record this if we're going to go past 1 o'clock. So where do we stand as far as we know?
With respect to my client, Kristen Reed, Judge, we are willing to work services.
Okay. Mr. Michelson, what about your client?
Since I spoke to Juan prior to Mr. Nowak speaking with his client, if I could just have 1 minute,
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. I'll open a breakout room for y'all. Mr. Reed, you may be asked to join the breakout room, or it may put you in there automatically.
Your Honor, this is Jay Michelson. We're back.
All right, then, Mr. Michelson, where do we stand?
Couldn't get my button to work. Mr. Reed agrees to work services likewise.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Turner, are you in agreement?
I am, Your Honor. Apparently, Isabella is in the waiting room under the name that I just sent you. If you could let her in and put me in a breakout room with her.
Okay.
Judge, while Mr. Turner's talking with his client, the department has filed 2 separate cases in this matter, and we would ask that those be consolidated.
Mr. Turner, are you in agreement?
I am, Your Honor, and I don't know if you want my recommendation now on the first 3 kids or
no, because I'm going to call the cases. I just want to be sure we know whether Miss Goodman's going to record it or not. Casa, are you in agreement with what you've heard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then real quickly, I'll call both cases and we'll get these agreements on the record. In that case, Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Ms. Ledbetter's with us for Casa. Mr. Turner's with us representing those children. Mr. Reed, the father, is with us, and his lawyer, Mr. Michelson, is with us, and Mr. Nowak is with us representing the mother, Mr. Alvey for the department, Mr. Turner representing Isaiah, Mr. Michelson with us representing Mr. Reed, the father, and Mr. Nowak with us representing the mother, Miss Reed. My understanding, and we've been discussing this case, that we have an agreement on both cases between all the parties. Let me just ask you, Mr. Nowak, is your client agreeable to the department continuing to be temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement, and then the Miss Reed will work services?
Yes, with respect to both cases, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Michelson, is this Mr. Reed's agreement also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Turner, are you in agreement?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Ledbetter, is Casa in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I didn't ask this. Mr. Alvey has asked that we consolidate these cases. Does anybody object to consolidating the 2 cases?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, I do not, with the caveat that I don't have any information on what the plan for Isaiah's placement is going to be. He is out of state and apparently living with grandparents in Clayton. I don't have any information as to whether that home is safe or not. As of right now, I think he would like to remain there, is my understanding, and stay in school there. He's apparently on the football team and has several jobs. Placement for the other kids, I'm fine with. They seem to be happy where they are. But Isaiah, I have no information as to what the department's intention as to placement of Isaiah is.
Well, let me just ask Mr. Albee, does the department have an intention yet?
Well, our issue, Your Honor, we weren't going to move this child at all. We weren't even going to be a part of this child, but they enrolled this child in Dalhart schools after or in text line schools. And we know that they did that, and then they withdrew him after we got involved in it. So we need to be conservative. I think that we want to leave him with the grandparent in Clayton, and that's probably the best thing. But that's going to mean we have to jump through some hoops, and I'm not sure where we're at on that.
Let's just do this. I'll tell you what I'm going to order. I'm going to order that Isaiah not be removed from his current placement without a prior court order. So if anybody's got a beef about him being with his grandparents, you can file a motion, and I'll set it immediately. So.
I'll agree. I mean, I'm fine with that, Judge. That is the outcome I'm looking for. So,
okay. Is this with maternal or paternal grandparents? Somebody?
Haley, do you know?
Miss Reed's
It's
mother.
paternal, sir.
Paternal. Okay. All right. And for my records, Robert, Israel, and Isabella are that number one. Are they all placed together? Yes. And where are they placed? What type of facility and what city,
Haley?
county?
You're muted, Haley.
Just said children.
It's a children's home in Amarillo.
Amarillo Children's Home?
Yes. No, it's High Plains Children's
Okay.
Home in
Okay.
Amarillo.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Then in both cases, I will continue the department's temporary manager conservator, continue all of the children's current placements. I'll order the two cases on all the Reed children be consolidated. And on Isaiah's case, I'll order that he not be moved from his current placement without a prior court order. All right. I appreciate y'all working that out. Our next hearing will be the status hearing. Both cases will be on September 20th, 2024. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of September 20 to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. So once again, appreciate you working that out. We'll stand in recess, and everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you,
Your
Judge.
Honor.
Uh-huh.
Under
Thank you.
what